but the helmet needed to be like a more gold.
Let's go by the numbers of the 2020 season with Boston College. Under Coach Jeff Hafley, the Eagles offense turned a new page, aired it out. 285 pass yards per game last season, good for third in the conference. 2019 averaged just 176 yards per game by the pass, second to last in conference. That prolific passing offense came at the hands of Phil Dracovic, recording 4 300-yard passing games. First BC quarterback to do that since first overall pick and NFL MVP Matt Ryan in 2007. It wasn't all great for the Eagles. Jeff Hafley's squad gave up over 400 yards of offense per game, ranking 8th in the conference and 73rd in the FBS. But BC seemed to be heading the right direction, as they were able to contend with some of the top dogs in the conference last year. The Eagles lost by a combined 10 points to Clemson and North Carolina in what were 2 thrillers. To talk about those Eagles, we now welcome in Coach Jeff Hafley, kind enough to join us here. Coach, it's nice to be here in person, hanging out on the campus. Beautiful day.
It is a great day. Thankful to have you guys, the ACC Network. Off day today, so we got a little bit of rest, so I probably don't look as tired, but really excited to have you guys here, so welcome to Boston College.
Well, thanks for having us. And Mark, I can imagine Coach feels a little bit better going into this year than last year. I mean, so much unknown. You hardly practiced with that team. You rolled them out there, and you looked really good, finishing 6-5. Ton of momentum going into this year. But what was it like last year as opposed to, say, this year going into the season?
Well, last year, we didn't even really know if we were going to play at this point. So it was just trying to convince the guys to go out there every day and give their best, really not knowing what was out there. But, you know, we got 24, 23 days until we kick off, so it's coming. We know the team. They know the coaches. We know the scheme. Last year, we were trying to install everything on the fly since we really missed the whole offseason. Just knowing the guys on the team and being around them. It's just such a fun group to coach, such a fun staff to be around. So camp's going really well into week 1.
And Coach, you know, you're settling into this Boston community. Finally, I'm sure during this past summer, able to experience Boston a little bit more than probably during the season. But what is this school and the feel that this school has? How is that coincided or maybe conflicted with just who you are as a person, who you are as a coach, and the style you like?
Well, I did get a chance to go out in Boston before this summer. I hadn't even left my house. Went on a ducky tour, which I'm sure you went on. Took the kids out. I went out with my wife, which was awesome. Boston is an unbelievable city, and I'm excited to get out more. I just think right now, I think there's a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love coming to work every day. I love coaching these kids. I think the school's excited, the city, the faculty, the community. And I'm excited for them to come out and watch us play. I've never coached a game with a fan other than cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's crazy.
That's fair. It'll be a very different look this season. Coach, where do you want this team to be better this year as opposed to a year ago?
I think we need to be better in all 3 phases. I don't think you can never take a step back. I need to be better as a head coach. I need to be a lot better. And I say that in front of the team, and I show them examples, just like I show them examples of we need to do this better. We need to run the ball better. I think we can throw the ball better. And then on defense, we need to continue to take the ball away. We have to play better on 3rd down. I know you mentioned yards. It's about points to me. It's possessions, it's points. People look at yards too much, and you think you're a great offense or a great defense based on yards. You got to score points, and you got to stop them from scoring points. You got to take the football away. We just all need to get better, and that's our mindset, and that's what I like about this football team.
Yeah, Coach, you just heard a bunch of different interviews that you've done, the way you talk to the team. And it's crazy, Jordan. I don't know how many coaches you've had that use the word love. Like, man, I love that guy. I love
something
Jordan.
really stands out.
And it stands out because you use that in a way that isn't just free. You mean it. And I think it's refreshing to hear. And also, too, how have these players really understood? Look, Coach loves me as a man, wants me to improve as a human being, and then a football player. How have they taken to that? Because that is rare, and it's something that, in my mind, is a mark of a good coach.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that's something you can ask the players about. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to come back to college football. It's the relationship. It's the amount of time you spend with them. And it's not just about football. It's about developing them as people. They got a lot going on. And if I don't get to know them and truly care about them, they're not going to come into my office and want to talk to me. And when we step on that field, I want to win for them, and I hope they want to win for me. And that's what this is all about. We're in this together. And if you're around somebody for that long, how could you not wind up loving each other? And that's sacrifice, right? Because that's what love is. I'm going to do everything I can for this team and for this staff, and that's all I ask for in return. And it's cool to hear them say that after a game, win or lose. I love this team. I love you. That's a great feeling as a coach.
Yeah, it's very powerful. And Coach, we're here. We're doing local media before we get ramped up to do the show that we're doing here now. And people are asking me why I'm so high on the Eagles. And I said, well, because Coach Hafley comes in his first year. And even though they didn't have much practice getting into the season, there was an identity with that team. What would you say that identity is for year 2 here?
I think our identity is all built on the culture we just talked about. It's a bunch of guys that love each other, that are going to put it on the line for each other. We're going to be fearless and confident. We're never going to be afraid to make a mistake. We're not going to flinch or back down to anybody. And whether we're down 10 in the fourth or up 10 in the fourth, we're going to finish. And people are going to know this is going to be a hard game. And when they come here, it's going to be a physical game. And that's who we're going to be. And win or lose, to us, it's about our process of just every single day doing our best and giving our best and not making excuses. And if we all do that, we got to go on Saturday fearless. And win or lose, we know we did everything we could. And that's what this team is all about, and that's what's building here.
So you're bringing back this season, and you got to be excited about the guys you're bringing back. 9 starters returning on offense, 8 starters returning on defense. But I think probably what makes you more excited is there's guys competing for those starting spots also. What are some of those guys who maybe have come in this recruiting class or have transferred in that have really impressed you with the way that they've had maturity and play on the field?
Well, Trey Berry on offense, I think you're going to see, you look at Hunter Long and what he did. Now, having Joey Luchetti back is unbelievable. You want to talk about nastiness and toughness, who's going to set the tone in the run game? That's Joey. And then Trey, if you guys were able to practice, he's like 6'7", and looks like he could shake your hand from where I'm sitting. I mean, when I see Phil scramble, I just start looking for Trey, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to cover that guy down the field. He's too big. Isaiah Graham-Mobley, linebacker, came in from Temple. Leadership, lights up room if you ever get a chance to talk to him. Phenomenal human being. I mean, there's a bunch of them. We got Chris Banks. We got Woodby. Guys who are coming in competing for jobs. And I don't want to live in the transfer portal. I don't. But if we have a hole, we need to fill it or bring competition, because you gotta have competition. That's huge, right? And then if we find the character checks out and they fit into our culture, we'll take them. And we did. And I'm glad they're here, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Well, Coach, you're a defensive-minded guy. You mentioned some of those defensive enhancements via the portal that are going to make you better. But we can't go this long without talking about your quarterback. I mean, Phil Dracovic, what he's doing, Zay Flowers, the opportunity for that offense to be special. How excited are you
One,
to see that offense go this year?
You're the first ones who ever asked me about defense first.
We know,
so thank you.
Our audience.
It doesn't matter. It's just, I get it too. I tell the defense all the time, no one wants to talk about you. And I try to use that to motivate them. But our quarterback's experienced now. Last year at this point, we didn't know what we were going to get. He hadn't played a game since his senior year in high school. Right now he has a whole season under his belt. He has spring ball under his belt. He looks more confident. He looks stronger. The consistency. People know we're going to throw the ball and he's going to make a ton of plays, but we have to be consistent. Wide receivers are talented. Coach Daly does a phenomenal job, and Coach Signetti, ton of energy, great scheme. So I'm excited to see them take the next step. They're tough to practice against, and the DBs and them going at it every day. It's been a lot of fun. Wish you could have seen it.
And lastly, your offensive line is all back. This has been offensive line around here like to call this O-line U. Other people might not, but they for sure believe it. And with Coach Altbaum and this group back, what is the limit for this offensive line this year, or is there one?
Well, I think their leadership, their toughness. You look, it starts in the middle with Lindstrom, and then you have Zion Johnson who decides to come back.
Wow.
And you should see I hope you guys get a chance to see him today. He looks like a whole different player. Vrabel with the experience. Mahogany, you talk about toughness. Petrula's probably started more games in the history of college football than any, because he played a full 4 and now he gets a 5th, right? So the experience, the toughness, the leadership, the way they work together. You guys have been around O-lines. It's just such a tight group. They need to lead our team. We have to run the ball better. We need to protect Phil. They need to set the tone, and they're going to, and they are awesome guys.
Well, you're an awesome coach. You're an awesome guy to be having us here. We really appreciate it. Coach Jeff Hafley. A whole lot of expectation because of what you delivered in year 1. Excited to see what year 2 holds. We appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming.
Well, here's what's in front of the Eagles this year. It's what Coach UMass and Temple before they travel down to SEC country to take on Mizzou. The last time the Eagles faced an SEC opponent, 2008. They lost by 2 points to Vandy. Looking to right that wrong. So, whole lot of fun and excitement. Fans in the building as well. Should be exciting.